there's going to be so much going on. So it's going to be hard to just talk about his performance in a vacuum. It is pretty fucking remarkable that a guy who had major surgery and then was basically out till, late in the summer, who did not have one snap with the team, not one snap with the team in training camp. You and I would go out to practice. He'd be throwing on the side, not like running with Armstead and other hurt guys like with the team. I guess maybe he did the one day, but once he started throwing, he threw to two guys that kind of look like me and you. I mean, he did not practice once. His first snap with the team playing football, not playing catch, playing football, was like 2.5 weeks ago. And to come back, and one, just to be the backup quarterback, but to come into a game and look pretty like, that's pretty insane. Doesn't Jimmy? That's pretty crazy. I think what we saw today is not probably going to get the credit that it deserves, given how weird his training camp was.
They showed him and what's his name, the running backs coach, the Chargers,
Anthony Lynn.
Yeah, they showed him and Anthony Lynn talking on the sideline, and it occurred to me, like, how many conversations these guys haven't been in that many meetings together, right? How many conversations have they really had together? You think back when Brian Greasy said, like, yeah, basically him and Jimmy haven't really talked that much because
remember, he wasn't going to meetings.
Of course he wasn't, right? Like, it's pretty wild. This is a guy who now twice has come onto the field for a team that he barely has spent any time with. The first time he got here when he really didn't know anybody. And now, where obviously he does know a lot of guys. So I don't know that a quarterback is quite – a lot of quarterbacks have been through crazy situations. There are other situations that were crazier, but I'm not sure we've ever seen anybody in this exact situation that Garoppolo has been in. And that's where it goes back to. There has to be a baseline of respect that his teammates have for him, even if they know he is limited, even if they know he's not going to carry them. There clearly is a comfort that he has with them and they have with him, because he played it wasn't just that he played very comfortable today. I'm not going to say it was great, whatever it was, but he was very comfortable from the second he stepped onto the field.
And they look comfortable with him.
The comments are coming so fast. I can't find this one. Somebody said,
which is like you said, there have been scenarios. Remember Carson Palmer off a couch when he had retired. We've seen weird stuff where guys don't know the team. That's what makes this so kind of unique. He knows the playbook, even though they kind of had changed it for the new quarterback, but everyone had kind of written him off because he wasn't going to be here. But then he comes back, but he hasn't been taking reps. And the number one thing, like, you wouldn't just show up at the U.S. Open without like practicing for, I don't know, months leading up to it. Like, this is an NFL game. He's had 2 weeks of practice, and his role at practice now is not even the normal reps. He is operating as the other team's quarterback. I don't know if he did it this week, but he definitely did it last week. He was Justin Fields in practice. He was the scout team quarterback. So, like, his reps are kind of weird to begin with. Now, you can say he has a lot more experience than your average, quarterback in this situation. Because a lot of times backup quarterbacks, right, just haven't, like Chase Daniels hasn't played that much, right? This guy's been a full-time starter. Hell, is there a chance he's a team captain by the start of next week or the game? Does he get his captaincy back?
That would be weird, right? Kyle would reveal, in hindsight, he actually got 17 votes.
You know the scene in Rudy where they weren't going to dress him and every guy to a man walks into the coach, puts their jersey down?
Yeah.
Like, Rudy plays, or I'm not playing. Rudy plays. If something like that happens, where it's like he deserves it, that would be, back to the Trey thing, be some things that would feel insurmountable. Or maybe it's just this individual is kind of an outlier.
Yeah,
maybe Alex had that with the Chiefs, and then Mahomes took it when he was good.
The thing is that Trey Lance is only in his second year in the NFL.
He's 22 years old.
He's on the roster it's just, hopefully the injury is such that he can be 100% back.
Fifth year, trending toward fifth-year option, or
who knows? I still going to.
Well, guy, after his third year, you got to apply or decline.
Yeah, they'll pick it up, I would think. Well, we'll see. I don't know. There's no way to know.
You see, the fifth-year option in like 4 years could be like, $38 million.
Yeah, I don't know. There's just no way to know. Like, to make a prediction is a complete guess.
It's impossible. But these are all the things we're talking about.
Well, you and I were texting like, is there a what happens if he has a good year? Now it's
They can't tag him, right?
Can't tag him. This will play itself out. So do you have to then extend him, or do you go, no, Trey's healthy now? What do you do? But that's a problem for another day. Tyler on the stream says, so let me get this straight. 13 of 21 for Jimmy is good, but awful for Trey. Got it. Nobody is saying that. And everyone claims like the media's trying to drive a wedge. No, it's that kind of bullshit that actually is people trying to drive a wedge, trying to put words in people's mouths about Trey versus Jimmy. The reality is we know what Jimmy is. He's a 67% passer. He's going to be 20 touchdowns and 12 picks. That's what he was last year. Maybe he'll be 25 touchdowns and 15 picks. I don't know. We know exactly what he is. And if you told me before the game that you'd come out of it, the Niners would win by whatever the score was today, and Trey Lance was 13 of 21 with a rushing touchdown and a passing touchdown, I think we'd go, cool.
Hell yeah.
That's all we wanted. Especially with some of the throws Jimmy made. If Trey Lance had Jimmy's game, I think we'd all be sitting here pretty happy today about Trey Lance.
What did I keep saying? He needs to lead some scoring drives. Like they need to score.
Agree with that? If he had exactly Jimmy's game, we would actually be talking better about Trey than we are about Jimmy because we know what Jimmy is.
Big facts. Big facts.
So
all anyone was rooting for.
BS.
A couple touchdowns.
I don't buy that for a second. I hear it all the time and it drives me nuts.
Doesn't bother me as much.
Well, it's just we're constantly having the same conversation about you don't like Trey enough or you guys like Jimmy too much. And it's like, no, take the whole body of work because it's nuanced. It's not black and white. There's gray area. Sometimes, honestly, what looks good for a young quarterback looks bad for a veteran quarterback, right? Like if Jimmy had 13 to 20, it's just because here's the reality. 13 to 21 isn't winning every game you got to win this year. It just beats the Seahawks because they're not that good.
Well, when he came in, I guess they were only a 3-0 because he got KO'd. Then they let him on a field goal drive. So it's not like that he came in when they were up 15-0 or whatever, right? Trey got hurt on the second drive of the game.
Yeah, it was 3-0. Then they kicked the field goal 6-0.
God, Trey got hurt early in that game. That was a lot of Jimmy today.
Yeah, it was really early. James says, I hope Jimmy doesn't get injured this year. Season could go sideways real fast. Well, I mean, that's the other reality. He gets hurt all the time, every year.
We had multiple injuries last year. Multiple, remember? He had a bad shoulder, and he tried to protect it on a fall, and he hurt his thumb. So they got two guys now. Freak deal or not. Jimmy's had freak deals too, right? ACL. Remember when he tried to cut? You can say it's freak, but he's been hurt a lot since. The combined injuries on these two guys is pretty high for two guys, correct?
Yeah.
Like one thing moving forward with Trey, we don't know. He's a lot of injuries in his short tenure around the Niners. Same with Jimmy. Like they need one of the two guys to be durable.
Well, I would say this. I mean, we know that Jimmy's game is not enhanced in a major way by design quarterback runs. Now, maybe Kyle just wanted Jimmy to get the touchdown and spike the football.
I think it was a zone read and he kept it.
I would just stop with that because now you have no safety net. Jimmy got his helmet knocked off his face, basically, on that.
I would say Jimmy needs to start playing like
sneaks are fine. Sneaks are fine.
He's good at that. I would kind of go to the Peyton Manning, Phillip Rivers, like, after they were 35, they just hit the ground, do that type shit.
I know, but you know what?
I'm talking for Jimmy. I know.
I'm just what I'm going to say is, you know what? It's just like that's who he is. This is who he is.
Football's crazy, man. I mean, it's just it's kind of hit me. What a day. Like that was, you couldn't have made this shit up. If you would have told me Trey got hurt this year, I'd be like, yeah, I mean, I could see that, right? Knee sprain or, concussion. When he first went down, I thought concussion.
That's exactly what I thought.
Concussion, because he kind of got hit. But if you would have told me week 2, about 5 minutes into the bad boy, ankle shattered, out for season, I don't even know if I would have believed that. If you would have told me that 3 weeks ago or something. Even once Jimmy's back on the team. Like, do you know how Jimmy's going to become the starter? Trey Lance, carted off. It's like,
I thought there'd be weeks of debating. Are we going to see him? Should they trade him?
Isn't this why
Cowboys last week?
Isn't this truly why? At different points in our life, when we were young, baseball was king. obviously basketball under Michael and even Larry and Magic, and the NFL was obviously huge in the 90s, but it's just shot like a rocket ship. Reality TV really took off over the last 20 years. But as we've learned, none of us knew this at first, and maybe it was more organic at first. Who knows? You'd have to ask people like in the business. But once you know that it's like, oh, that's all scripted. Like every reality show is like all scripted. It's all fake. The best part about specifically the NFL is just how real it all is. Like you just can't make any of this shit up. Like the Niners.
But it's wilder than anything people. It's just too many twists for writers.
Well, exactly. It's why like as playmakers ended and like for years we just kind of used that as like they were off. They weren't even crazy enough.
Think about it too. Like if you were writers, like, you hear people talk like we did 30 minutes of scripted TV. We did 2 seasons within a year. That was 28 episodes. We never slept. It's like, well, yeah, I don't think those people could write 10-hour shows. We got a 10-hour show on Sunday. Then we're going to have a 4-hour Monday show and a 4-hour Thursday show. Sometimes we'll have some Saturday shows too. You guys able to handle all those scripts? You couldn't possibly. Right?
No.
How many actors are we writing into all these? Well, let's see. It's going to be 46 per team per day, but there's also going to be 53. Plus, you're going to have to bring a bunch of new characters in every season. Okay, so it's going to be about 30 times 7 new characters every season you're going to have to start writing in as well. Got it.
Well, think about this. Remember the Montana doc? There's like the moment when it's really heating up and like the local dude's interviewing Walsh. He's like, yeah, I think we just got a quarterback controversy on our hands, right? Like if you and I were writing a script, you'd be like, is anyone going to believe that a guy would say this? And you'd write it and be like, I don't know. It's like Bill Walsh, who I think was widely considered maybe now the second best coach of all time, but you could argue he's right there with Walsh, Belichick, Lombardi. Just like quarterback controversy on our hands. We'll figure it out as we go. Like you would never get that. Like the days of Walsh, would you agree? Like Walsh and I'd say Parcells was definitely probably the best. How candid they were are probably over with coaches when it comes to like players. Just a little less. The give and take with social media and just the impact it has on those guys is a lot different than probably it was in the 80s.
Yeah, I think the social media elements, a big one. I think players being so rich is a big element too. Like you just don't get to run a locker room the same way you probably used to when everyone had to fear for their job because there was just one coach who could turn on you and you were done.
It's like Parcells was making $500,000 and there was like 3 guys on the team making like $1 million.
Yeah, well, I know you'd love to cut him, coach, but he's making $17 million this year, and our GM used 2 first-round picks on him. So sorry.
Yeah, we would love to just get rid of this guy, but it's dead cap the next 2 years, like $60 million, so we're stuck with him.
So you got to go, actually. Actually, it's going to be you. Thanks for asking about cutting him, but you're fired.
I just think the NFL, what it really has going for it is like the NBA, I think, kind of jumped the shark on their off-season and their off the court didn't equal the on the court. They lost equilibrium. The NFL's equilibrium, like, their on the field drama is just elite. It's just, it creates the conversations. Like a lot of the NBA conversation, even baseball is like, how much is this guy going to make $500 million or how much is Judge going to get, which is fun. I enjoy that. And he's kind of unique. I mean, he's shattering the record, but football has
2 today.
He had 2 today.
What's he at?
Damn. I didn't see any Aaron Judge in my timeline. Now, maybe once the injury happened. I mean,
I didn't either. But
war zone of Trey, Jimmy, but it's at the sweet spot of their drama comes from the field, but it is like legit drama, right? Like the Colts have a legit problem right now, but it's not like, Frank and Irsay don't even talk to each other in the hallway. It's not like, well, is this true? Is this not true? It's like, no, we watch them play and they fucking blow.
Yeah.
And they have Matt Ryan. They've put all their chips in the middle. Like they are. Can you imagine if you and me, instead of being, Northern California people were in Indy? I mean, it'd be like, holy shit. Are people getting fired? Is Chris Ballard going to lose his job? Right. But it's all based on like, you watch them play. And then the drama builds off that. Like the Trey Jimmy drama was a little NBA-ish, but then boom, it's just taken shape on the field, right? Ankle shattered, now Jimmy's playing. It's fucking nuts. And football's always kind of had that. College football definitely has that too. It's like the games just impact the conversation of such substance, but it's like legit drama. It's like it's like People Magazine, but of just dudes in pads doing weird shit, making a ton of money. You see Mike Evans and Lattimore today? That was nuts.
Did you read Mike Evans' lips? Someone read his lips. It's like, that's Tom Brady. What do you expect me to do?
Oh, that's why because he thought he
was
shoved
defending
Tom.
Tom.